Evening, welcome to the Derby debrief from RamsTV. I'm Bradley with Shaun Barker alongside, reflecting on a draw for Derby tonight away at Morecambe. Their first ever trip to the Mazuma Stadium ends in a draw. 2 penalties for Derby, both missed. They came from a goal down. Louis Sibley's first in the league since February, and though they pushed toward the end, they could not get the winner. You'll hear from head coach Paul Warne shortly, captain on the night Max Bird as well. Word from Barks to kick us off. I think the overriding message coming out of the squad and the manager's office tonight already is it's 2 points dropped. It certainly feels that way. It
does, because we created so many chances, 2 missed penalties, set pieces, corners. You have to take them though. Morecambe were bright in little moments. The counter-attack when we were maybe a little bit sloppy, and they had some players on the attack that caused us a few problems, but we should have come away with all 3 points, and that's a frustrating thing, because the last game we showed that kind of quality, that ruthlessness in front of goal, especially in the first 45 minutes against Bristol Rovers. If we had a little bit more of that this evening, we could have won very, very comfortably.
There were positives. I think Louis Sibley certainly, and I know Lewis Dobbin was man of the match, but to not take the penalties in particular, when you look back at it now, and they really rankle.
They do as well, because of the players, because of James Collins with his form, his quality, and then McGoldrick takes the second one. Both weren't great penalties. Both you'd expect more from those 2 players in that situation. I thought in the wide positions, I thought were excellent. Mendez-Lang was outstanding in the first 45 minutes. Lewis Dobbin was always bright, always looking to get past the player. So the pair of them were causing problems in those wide areas, and we were getting crosses in. We had players in the box. We were causing problems, but not enough with it. Louis Sibley, I thought, was excellent in terms of coming into that position. A little bit alien to him in terms of being more of a sitter, a little bit more controlled in what he could do, but I thought he picked the times to drive forward and step into the pitch, and that meant Max Bird had to cover defensively that little bit more. There was a nice balance, and away from home you get, 25, 26, 27 attempts on goal, almost a dozen corners, set pieces, chances to bury, one-on-ones. It's only going to feel like 2 points dropped.
And more from Barks in a minute. Let's get some reaction though from the head coach, Paul Warne.
Yeah, unfortunately we probably weren't our sharpest in the box, possibly. Missed a couple of penalties, had a 100% another penalty, which we didn't get. Hit the bar, the keeper made some saves, controlled large parts of the game, although Morecambe did have a threat, and in fairness you can play anyone, they're always going to have a threat. But defended quite well. It's just disappointing that, I appreciate everyone who's made the real effort to come, because I know how far it is. And getting back at stupid o'clock, that we didn't finish with a winner, which would have gone down as back-to-back wins and cheered everybody up. But unfortunately, it's 2 points dropped or 1 point gained at half time. If you'd offered me it, I'm not sure I'd have took a point. We were going all guns blazing, but that 1 point, at the end of the season might be a great point.
The penalty in the first half, then James Collins, I would have put my mortgage on him scoring, given the form he's been in for you guys. What were you feeling at that moment?
Yeah, well, I did expect him to score, obviously, because I back him in everything he does. He changed his side. He normally goes the other side, but he changed his side, and the keeper's made a save. So I'm not blaming. I was the worst penalty taker ever, so I'm not blaming him. It's just disappointing, because it's a good chance to take the lead, and then you might go on to score 2, 3 and 4 and control the game handsomely. But it wasn't to be. And it made us chase it, which is always awkward. We then get our foothold back in, and Sibbs takes his goal really well. We miss another penalty with Didsey, which is disappointing. And then the lads did everything they could to try and score. It wasn't through a lack of effort or anything. I can't but admire them for that. It's just that, a couple of times we make mistakes and we get counted on. So their goal came from us giving the ball away in the middle of the pitch. Cash could have been sent off. Really, I think we got away with one there. I think he could have been sent off, and that came again from in the middle of the pitch we give the ball away. And if we play with wingers and we play like a 4-2-4 and we're brave, we just cannot give the ball away in that part of the pitch, because you're going to get counted and you're in trouble. So that's the disappointment for me. 2 times we got punished, but generally I thought we performed well enough to win a game away from home.
Do you feel that you could make life easier for yourselves with the answer that you're giving there? Is it just those decisions, little moments where you could make it so much more easy on the pitch, which I know is easy when you're sat watching it.
Yeah, well, my honest opinion, and it's difficult because I don't want to hammer the dressing room. I just think that we were having success getting it out wide, getting past them, putting balls in the box, and then it's like it felt like we get bored of that. We'll try a different way to try and score, but you don't need to get bored of it. You just need to put better quality in the box, and the chances will come. So that's my frustration a little bit. I mean, I'm only saying it while I'm emotional. I'll watch it back and I could be wrong, but that's my honest feeling now that, when we did get it out to Dobbs smoked him all over the place. I thought Nat was smoking him first half about 15-20 minutes, and then he didn't get the ball for 15 minutes, which is just get it out of the middle of the pitch, get it wide. We've got unbelievable wide players, attacking threats. It sounds awful, but get the ball to the best kids. And they were having great joy, and I just thought we overcomplicated it, tried to play sweet little balls inside the pitch, and we were losing it, we were getting bullied. And I just thought if we'd have kept it to the game plan, I think we would created more chances to give ourselves a chance to win. Doesn't mean you've got to score them, I just think you just give yourself an opportunity to win.
Do you feel that it's a point gained, or do you feel it's 2 drop there? Because you talked about averaging, I think it was 2 points a game. You're sort of edging towards that sort of total if you got 4 points from your last 2 games.
I'm edging towards it. We are from the last 2, but the game before that we lost, so we're nowhere near it. So, and in fairness, we're playing catch up as well. So look, at the end of the season, this point could get us 6th place. Who knows? But we're trying, and I was trying to put a marker tonight that I know because I've been in this league before that. If you're one of the top teams at home tonight watching Derby play away at Morecambe, you see Derby win and they go into 6th, you're thinking, oh, here we go, they've got to get it right, and it sends out a bit of a message. I thought our performance was enough to win, but unfortunately wasn't to be.
So we go back home, and then it's all the way down to Torquay on Sunday. You've got such a slim squad anyways that you can't really do much in terms of rotation, can you?
No, 0. And in fairness, we haven't got a plethora of options on the bench that doesn't. It sounds awful, but doesn't make the team weaker. Yeah. You want to make changes for changes, fresh legs, similar players. So, for example, if I took a Dobbin off and put a Will on, they're virtually the same player, which is good. And then, we've got a lot of players who will have a good career, but probably aren't ready to come into a competitive arena like this just yet. So it does limit. I like making 5 subs. I like changing 5 players, give fresh legs and have a right go. And unfortunately at the moment we can't, so it feels like our first half performances are normally quite fresh, and then as the second half proceeds, it feels like we just don't finish the games as strong as I would like. And in fairness, more mistakes are made in the last 15 minutes than any part of the game. And there's many teams at the top who have nicked late winners, 89th, 92nd minute, because they're still striving. I just didn't think we possibly had enough goal threat in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. Like, it would have been the best sub of my career if Will would have scored. As soon as I'm thinking this is going to be unbelievable, this, and that was a reasonable chance for a very good footballer. In the same way, when it sat to Tomo, a very good technician at the end, I'm thinking just hit the target, you've got a right chance, and unfortunately it didn't go in. But I can't criticise the lads' efforts. I cannot. We just need to keep helping them and need them to keep believing that. Look, you're not going to win every game of football. I understand that, but I thought we've done enough tonight to win.
Just lastly, away from football, if you like, you guys are raising money for prostate cancer this month. We've put something out on Twitter today. I think you're knocking on £1,000 raised already, which is a tremendous effort from the Derby supporters. Yeah. Just explain why you feel that this is such a worthwhile cause to really get behind, because it looks like a lot of people in football are getting right behind it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been doing it for years. We've done it for the last 6 years. So, every day you can do different distances, and that even my wife's doing it this year. She done 5k today. Luckily, she hasn't moaned about it. But we just do 5k every day because supposedly 1 in 2 of us get cancer, and it's a big thing for men, obviously. And we're just trying to raise awareness. And raise money. So I've done it every year for God knows how long. It's 5k isn't a lot for us to run. I say that, it's nearly killed me today, but it's on my days off, which I find hard. The Sunday morning getting up. The positive thing is my dog gets in unbelievable shape. He could do with losing a couple of kilos, so he'll be running first thing in the morning, and loads of clubs do it, and it's like a nice sort of not a prostate family, that doesn't sound right, but there's loads of people trying to promote it all around the country with their football teams, and we've raised more money every year. So it's a good cause. Some can bike. I mean, like Andy, my goalie coach, ran today 5k, and believe you me, it's a long way for him. So For those who already sponsored us, thanks very much. I'm going to have to get my brother to sponsor and everyone I know, but it's a brilliant cause, obviously, and I think as you get older, cancer affects more and more of our family members. When you're in your early teens, 20s, you didn't, not really, and now all of a sudden it affects my family and everybody. So please get behind it or try and do it yourself.
And there is Derby head coach Paul Warne. If you want to support him and the rest of the guys, you can get details on the website dcfc.co.uk. I'm sure we'll catch up with him as the month goes on to see how he's getting on as well. Back to tonight's game, Shaun. I think you can sense the frustration from him there. Just wanted Derby to keep things a little bit more simple as the game went on. And they made it hard for themselves by going a goal behind, didn't they? Was that against the run of play? I think they were galvanised a little bit more by the missed penalty, and we'll get to the missed penalty. It was a good goal when it came, though. It
was a wonderful goal. You can't take away from the first touch and finish. But I thought it started quite open in terms of both teams. They had a glorious chance after less than a minute where Wildsmith made a great save. They showed a threat, I thought, either side of the two centre-halves in Fozzie and Cash quite early on, and luckily the two centre-halves dealt with that as the game went on. But they always looked quite bright going forward. They tried to play some decent football. They tried to get in the little 10 positions to make it difficult to mark. But as the game progressed, we were more maybe dominant. We had the two penalties. There should have been another penalty, as Paul mentioned there. We had chances, but whenever you lose the ball in possession, you're high up the pitch and you're putting bodies forward, you always run that risk. And I thought a couple of their players are quite bright on that counter and on the break, and they had moments throughout the game where they looked like they could score a goal. So over the course of 90 minutes, we were the better team. We were far more dominant, had better chances, better territory in terms of their final third, our final third. We just didn't do enough with it.
I thought it was going to be one of those nights. It sort of was, because Derby didn't win when they should have done, but they got something, thanks to Louis Sibley's goal, first in the league since February. And I was pleased for him tonight, playing that slightly different role. We weren't sure where he was going to play exactly, but he did a good job alongside Max Bird. He
did. We know what Sibs is like. He wants to drive forward with the ball. Probably not the best tackler in the team. He wants to step into space where he can drive forward. And actually, I thought he picked the times when he could do that in the game really well. He had to show a little bit more discipline. There's no doubt about it. I think the goal came from Sibs recovering maybe 40, 50 yards to get back in position before we built up through the pitch. So he showed a different side of him. He showed a different side of terms of when he could go and when he couldn't. I thought Max covered the space, especially defensively, in 2 or 3 occasions where we were overloaded. He got back quickly in the box to help the defenders out. So there was a decent balance there, and that was the only thing beforehand. Maybe Tomo would have been more natural fit, and probably the player that maybe more would have expected to fit in and replace Harahan, but Sibs did a great job, and I have to say his set pieces, his corners were on the money all night.
27 shots, 11 on target, 2 of those were penalties, and they are the golden chances, the missed chances. And we spent so much time ahead of the game talking up David McGoldrick after his hat-trick, talking up James Collins after his goal, and the run that he's on actually over the last few weeks. Sort of feel that we should take some responsibility for it. But both Stonewall penalties, both missed.
They were. Yes, they hit the target, but they didn't put enough on them to score, really. Colin Ripley chose the right way both times, and they were too close to him for him not to make the save. So good saves from the goalkeeper, but in terms of the quality of the 2 players that are stepping up to take those, you can always understand when a penalty is missed, but 2 in a game is obviously disappointing. And I thought they struggled a little bit to make the most of the balls into the box today, because there were a lot. I thought Menez Lang put 3 or 4 in the first half with real quality. Instantly in the second half, Collins obviously hit the crossbar before McGoldrick got the second penalty. And there was just those little moments of maybe the movement, maybe the sharpness, maybe the reaction to those balls coming in the box, because in the wide areas I thought there was a real threat.
Let's get some more reaction from the Mazuma Stadium. We can hear from Derby's captain tonight, Max Bird.
Max, point tonight, could it have been more?
Yeah, it should have been more. We started off a bit slow, and we knew what we needed to do to break them down. Obviously we missed 2 penalties, but no one misses penalties on purpose. We had enough chances to win the game. Myself, I'd give a poor pass away in the middle of the pitch and they counter and score from it. So I take responsibility for that, but you know, we should be winning these types of games. It was a chance for us tonight to get 3 points, and we probably should have got them.
I feel like it's a conversation we've had before, plenty of opportunities, but just really struggling to find that breakthrough. There's got to be some frustration there, I'm sure.
Yeah, the lads are really annoyed in the change room. We know we've got such a great squad and great team at the minute. You know, we've got a couple of injuries, suspensions, whatever at the minute, but we've still got a good enough team to go and win this game. We feel as though it's, you know, points dropped at the end of the day. But look, we've got to keep our heads. We've got a cup game at the weekend, and we've got to keep going. It's a long season. We've got to keep trying the things that we can do. I can't say much else than that, apart from we just got to keep working hard at it and keep focused. Because if we take our eye off the ball or get too frustrated with how things have gone, then things will start going downhill. So we've got to keep ahead and keep going.
Yeah, I guess keep going was the operative word out there tonight, because after 2 penalty misses, it would have been easy for heads to drop, but you did keep pushing and did get that breakthrough in the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I said, no one misses penalties on purpose. It's just part of football. So, and arguably we should have had another one in the first half as well. But like I say, I can't say much more. We've got to keep going. We're all disappointed in there. We have to look at things and analyse the game on how we can do better and try and win games in different ways maybe. But it's something that we'll look at and talk about as a team. And the management staff have been fantastic with us, so we've got to keep believing in what they want from us.
I guess the important thing as well, if you're not going to be able to win the game, is to make sure you don't come away empty-handed, and there were some really switched on pieces of defensive play towards the end of the game when we were really pushing for the winner.
Yeah, Fozzie was brilliant, Cash also. You know, like I say, we had a slow start as a team. We needed to get going. I thought they were there for the taking early doors, and we should have punished that a bit more. But that's football. You know, at least we didn't lose the game, should we say? But like I said last week, we're winners. We would be frustrated if we don't win a game of football, whether we deserve to win it or not. We have to start picking up points and winning games of football.
As you say, it's a busy run coming up. Back to action at Torquay at the weekend, and then Liverpool next week. So not much time to put things right, but that's obviously on the training field. But then straight back to matches to try and correct the errors of today. Yeah,
it's exciting because, you know, we're in the FA Cup, a cup that's, you know, very, very historic in this country, one that we want to go far with. You know, it's not going to be an easy game. It'll probably be a different sort of game. And then we go to Anfield, which is every boy's dream to play at Anfield. So, like I say, we've got to enjoy it and enjoy ourselves. And ultimately, if we do that, we'll end up picking up 3 points in games of football. I'm sure of it.
Busy month on the road, as you say, and the travelling fans once again excellent tonight, even with some difficulty getting here on a cold Tuesday night.
Yeah, fantastic as always. Can't fault them. They stuck with us throughout the whole game. You know, like you said, for us it could have been easy for us to disappear and go hiding, but and for them as well. But they stuck with us, and you know, they give us a big push. Unfortunately, we couldn't repay them, but you know, it was brilliant as always.
Thanks for your time, Max. Cheers.
There is Max Bird results from League One tonight. Teams playing games in hand, some of them at least. Draws all round actually. Finished Lincoln 1, Accrington 1, Oxford 1, Fleetwood 1, Wycombe 2, Port Vale 2. The visitors twice coming from behind. Quick look at the table for you. Derby stay 7th, a couple of points outside the top 6. They have now played the same number of games as Bolton. They do still have a game in hand on the top 4, but they are 6 points off Peterborough. At the other end, Morecambe not moving too far, and had no chance of being out of the bottom 4 tonight anyway, but they do move a point closer to safety. Again, they've now played their game in hand. That's all from us for now. If you want more reaction, it's on the website for you, dcfc.co.uk. We're back Sunday. Goodbye.